to the William Mattar Thursday Night Lights, live on My TV Buffalo, presented by Stellar Roofing.
Coming to you live from Adams Field in Buffalo, New York. We are officially in the month of October as a pair of winless teams look for win number one. The Hamburg Bulldogs and the Kenmore Bulldogs right here on the law office of William Mattar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. And hi everyone, welcome inside our broadcast booth here at Sparky Adams Field, along with the coach, Scott Pilkey. I'm Joe Kraus. Thanks for making us part of your Thursday evening. And Scott, both teams looking for their first win. It's also homecoming for the Kenmore East Bulldogs. It's a lot at stake here in a big, exciting way.
Yeah, both coaches are really excited about this matchup, starting to get their season going, and one of them is going to get a great win tonight.
Well, let's take a look at the key players in this one, starting with Hamburg, the linebacker, number 33, Ray Bruce, a team-high 46 tackles, 100 in the last two seasons. He also has 2 sacks on the year for this Hamburg defense, looking to get that first win here tonight. And he is going to try to take down the Kenmore East quarterback, Julian Lubetsky. First year at the helm, and he got his first 2 touchdown passes last week in a tough loss to North Tonawanda, over 200 yards as well. As you can see, he can throw that pretty nice spiral. So Lubetsky against Bruce. As we now, Scott, take a quick look here at our keys to the game, brought to you by Stellar Roofing. What are the keys in this one?
Well, for both Bulldog teams, the first one is about moving the chains and eliminating the big plays, and the other Bulldog team is protect the football and stay disciplined.
So when we come back, it is kickoff between a pair of Bulldogs, Hamburg and Kenmore East. You are watching the law office of William Mattar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. Welcome back to Thursday Night Lights. Let's take a look at the head coaches in this one, starting with the head coach of Kenmore East, Matt O'Malley, a former Bulldog himself, then spent some time with Kenmore West, and then was the offensive coordinator at St. Joe's. 6-23 record with the Bulldogs, now in his 4th season with the Kenton group, and really trying to get going here. And on the other side for Hamburg, in his 9th season, 18th part of the program, 18th year overall, Jeff Tripp, 29-44 record at the helm. Helped the Amherst Tigers win their lone Section 6 championship to date as a player back in 1993, ending a 5-peat run for Grand Island. But Coach Tripp and Coach O'Malley's got 2 coaches here trying to get win number 1.
Well, and they're all talking about different levels of players that they have on their team. You know, you've got some, Hamburg has, 5 players that this is their first year playing. And on the other side, it's about getting everything right and taking care of the football and not making as many mistakes as we've seen in the first 4 weeks.
Great crowd on hand tonight here at Sparky Adams Field for homecoming. You can see on your screen the dog pound for the Kenmore East Bulldogs. A great night for football as well. A current temperature tonight of 67 degrees, mostly clear, wind gusts up to 4 miles per hour. But as we get ready for this contest, do you have any favorite memories, Scott, of homecoming games when you were a coach?
Well, one of the best things about tonight is it's just the young people that are all gathered into their little pockets. You can see the cheerleaders are out here. Everybody is ready for this game. There's a really great air of excitement at this amazing traditional field that we're in tonight. You're talking about the spark. That's what each team is supposed to get here tonight. We're excited about this one.
Our officiating crew tonight, the referee, Ken Eddings, the umpire, Tony LaCastro, the linesman is Daniel Ray. The line judge is James Foster Jr., and the back judge tonight is Mr. Christopher Horvatic. So, just about a moment away, 2 schools, Kenmore East and Hamburg, that opened its doors during the Eisenhower administration. Hamburg in 1955, Kenmore East in 1959. The Kenmore East Bulldogs wearing their home dark blue uniforms with gold numerals here, and Hamburg wearing their road whites with purple. It is Johnny Cedrone ready to kick this one off tonight for Kenmore East. 2 men in the backfield for Hamburg, as this crowd is ready to support Kenmore East and Hamburg in this one. And we are ready too. Another edition of the Law Office of William Attar's Thursday Night Lights presented by Stellar Roofing is underway, and Hamburg is going to start this drive just shy of their own 40-yard line.
You're going to see a lot of variations of kickoffs. That's a little blooper over the top to try and see if everybody was awake. Nice little retrieval. Good field position start for Hamburg.
And right on cue for Hamburg, it is Colton Herod, the senior quarterback here. Just under 300 passing yards on the year. Just 1 touchdown pass so far that came in week 1. But the Bulldogs have some nice pieces for him to work with.
Yeah, the offensive line up front, as I say every single week, is going to establish this. You've got some big young guys in here. Let's see how this goes.
1st and 10 at the Hamburg 39-yard line. Counter run, and the Kenmore East defense was ready. Tyler Kent, one of the Colts captains, able to bring down the back in the backfield for a good loss.
Great get off. Good penetration, and this is what he said. If the O-line doesn't give the young man any type of protection, we're going to see them in the backfield all day long.
Big 4-yard loss coming from the defensive line, and Tyler Kent. This will set up 2nd and 14 on the 35-yard line. Hamburg coming in on the season. They scored 17 rushing touchdowns a year ago. As 2nd and 14, here is a snap. Harris throws to the outside to making the catch. Gabe Terry gets to the 45 and gets to midfield. It was a good catch and play from Gabe Terry, one of the juniors in this big offense for Hamburg.
This is just a really well-executed deal. The last play, you saw some great pressure. This one was the read, throw out to the flare, and they almost got they got their very first down. This is the way to open it up and get it going.
And here is the Hamburg offense brought to you by the Law Office of William Attar. Here in a car called William Attar. Will Melcher, a big player in the backfield. There's a couple of, as well, new offensive linemen, Joe Shires and Leo Haley, on that line for Hamburg. It's a fresh set of downs, 1st and 10, right at midfield. Here is the handoff. Going to the outside is Melcher, and he gets stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Nick Wilson with the tackle for Kenmore East.
Yeah, everything was set up here with great pressure, and even before the game, you saw the offense and defensive line coach talking to their D-line to penetrate, but then retrace your steps. And you're seeing right now they're not over-penetrating, which is what they wanted to have in that last play.
Now let's take a look at the Kenmore East defense from the law office of William Mattar. The starting lineup: Hurt in a car, call William Mattar. DJ gets a big player on the defensive line. Zaire Grissom, the team leader in sacks as well, as the 2nd and 11 pitch goes to the outside to Will Melcher. Keeps his feet moving past the 40. And then brought down by Zaire Grissom after the big run here for Hamburg.
This is a nice adjustment that Hamburg just made. They tried running up the ball. Unfortunately, it's a flag.
That's going to be on the Hamburg Bulldogs.
Holding 33 offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's 2nd down.
That's Ray Bruce, who's going to be a big guy on the defensive side of the ball, but's got to learn to keep his hands on the inside. Negated a great run.
So this will now bring up 2nd and 19. Two minutes into the contest, Hamburg still on the opening drive. Noah Lavelle at center for Hamburg. He gets the snap over to his quarterback, Herod, who moves to the outside. Herod gets his way up past the 40 and close to the 45. He gets about 5 or 6 yards on that QB scramble. Looked like the play kind of broke down there.
Well, again, their success so far has been outside. They had the unfortunate holding call to negate that big 12-yard gain. But the good part is that they're showing some ability to get to the outside on the perimeter, which might be their key tonight to to the big gains that they need to have going forward.
And Colton Herod, he has had some success on the outside, as this will now bring up 3rd and long for Hamburg on the opening drive. Two receivers to the right. Herod takes the snap, looks towards the far sideline. Herod now on the run, rolls to his right. The pass is complete. Hamburg keeping the chains moving here back into Kenmore East territory, but there is a flag on the field.
It's going to be roughness. They knocked the quarterback out of bounds. Roughing the passer, I believe, would be the call. Two big penalties so far.
Now a little bit more of a discussion. Both teams trying to get back to their winning ways here, but we'll now get the call.
So we've got personal foul here. We got a personal foul, roughing the passer. All right, they're good off. We have a personal foul on the defense, roughing the passer. We have a personal foul on the offense. Those penalties will offset. We'll replay 3rd down.
So offsetting penalties, negating that big catch. As we'll take a look again.
And this is one of those things that they're trying to correct on both sides. Each team is trying to be more disciplined, and this is obviously something that they've got to achieve here in this game.
So clock is moving once again. 3rd down coming up. Hamburg trying to get back to their winning ways. They are only 9-20 since a 7-3 finish back in 2021, where they made it all the way to the Class A semifinal. Kenmore East went 2-6 last year and 3-5 2 years ago. Here's the snap. Herod looks with a deep ball down the middle of the field. It is incomplete, just out of the reach of the Jeremiah Gandy, and that'll bring up 4th down.
We saw this type of play that they were setting up You know, it looks like they're really trying to go more of a pro-style offense, trying to spread the ball out a little bit. They were running the wing tee for the first 4 weeks. Looks like they're really trying to open the ball up. Like, they had good pass pro on this one, and it's just a little over top, but at least a nice stretch play down. It's something that they have to plan for going forward.
So Hamburg now in punt formation. One man back for Kenmore East. Hamburg with a nice punt that time for Will Melcher. A flag does come in as it bounces out of bounds.
Again, we're going to see as people are making mental mistakes, this is the kind of stuff that coaches are getting frustrated about, but they got to keep coaching and keep developing.
As we mentioned at the top here, Scott, both teams still looking for their first win of the season. Still a bit of discussion. Now here's the call.
During the return, holding on the return team. 10-yard penalty for the end of the run here. First down.
Kenmore East coming in with a 0-4 record, a close Week 1 loss to Amherst, 7-0. And then a 60-6 loss to Health Sciences. Williamsville East, a big loss, and a close one to North Tonawanda last week as Julian Lubetzky takes the field for the first time tonight. 2 of his 3 passing touchdowns, Scott, coming last week against the Lumberjacks.
Well, that's just showing that he's starting to grow as a player. And he kept his team close against North Tonawanda last week. Let's see what he does here in his opening drive.
Lubetzky with an empty backfield, completing just over 45% of his passes. The motion man, Amir Epps, but before we get the snap, more flags on the field.
False start, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
This is just getting everybody on the same page, opening, homecoming night jitters, and on both teams right now.
One of those big keys early on here, Scott, was about staying disciplined for Kenmore East. And head coach Matt O'Malley said that those not being disciplined cost us a couple of these games early on.
Well, you can tell that they have good athletes. I mean, they're completing passes down the field. They're getting good outside runs on Hamburg's side. And they got a good quarterback here. It's showing signs of growth, but they got to start putting it all together.
First and 15, Bulldogs able to complete the pass play. Tyler Kent making the catch just shy of the 30-yard line. Tyler Kent, one of the top receivers for the Bulldogs coming into tonight's action. As we'll take a look at the whole offense here, Scott, brought to you by the law office of William Attard, Tyler Kent, Amir Epps, and getting some big help, including the left tackle, Andrew Hampton.
Yeah, what these guys are doing is you're going to see good pass pro from Kenmore East for their young quarterback, which they've provided so far, and let's see if they can keep it up.
2nd and 10 at the 29-yard line for Kenmore East after Tyler Kent recording his team-high 11th catch of the year. He is the motion man. Bulldogs of Kenmore East go to the ground game. It's a good chunk there to about the 32 or 33. Hamburg quickly able to get that stop. This will bring up 3rd and 8.
Well, they're using motion really nice here. They use this guy to come in. Number one, you use motion to find out what kind of defensive secondary they're playing, whether it's a zone or man. But this time they were able to bring him in, and he turned into an isolation back where he comes in and he plays the fullback, gets up on the linebacker. Nice gain here.
Now let's take a look at the Hamburg Bulldogs defense, brought to you by the law office of William Attard. Hurt in a car, call William Attard. We talked about Ray Bruce, especially at the linebacker spot. Noah Lavelle leading the team in sacks as well on the D-line. 3rd and 8 for Kenmore East. 6.5 minutes to go in quarter number 1. Here's the snap to Amir Epps trying to get to the outside, and he is going nowhere. This is going to be a big loss brought down by the man we just mentioned, Noah Lavelle, on the D-line, and Kenmore East now bringing out the special teams.
29 tackles and 3 sacks. That'll be another. I think he had 5 tackles for losses as well. That'll be number 6 for him. Hit a great extension, good length. 6 feet, 210 pounds, and a great motor. They needed that right there. That's a real-time player for them.
So Kenmore East now in punt formation. Kenmore East looking to record its first win at home this season. Here is the punt. This is going to be a line drive punt. Tracked down by the Bulldogs. Here is Gabe Terry. Tries to move to his left, and he is brought down just shy of the 45-yard line. We have 5:28 to go here in the first quarter. We'll step aside for a short break, and you are watching the law office of William Attar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. And let's send it down to the third man of our crew, Tyler Millen. Tyler?
Thanks, guys. Kenmore East is coming off its best performance of the season, scoring a season-high 21 points, despite losing on a last-minute touchdown last week to North Tonawanda. They are headlined by their star quarterback in Julian Lebeski, who entered today 527 pass yards. He has over 20 yards per completion, utilizing that top target, Tyler Kent, as we've seen so far today. Hamburg also played a one-score game against North Tonawanda earlier this season. They are headlined by the linebacker Ray Bruce, as we've talked about in this broadcast so far, the fifth most tackles in Section 6 entering today. And he was also joined along that defense by Noah Lavelle, who leads Hamburg, coming in with 5 tackles for loss to go along with 3 sacks. It's a beautiful night for football. Should be an entertaining one for the rest of the way here. Guys, we'll send it back up to you in the booth.
Thank you, Tyler. Joe Kraus, Scott Pilkey with you tonight here at Sparky Adams Field, as this is going to bring up a third down play. Scott, Hamburg trying to keep the chains moving, no score.
Well, Kenmore East has already made a nice adjustment. Hamburg in the first series tried to get to that right edge. One time was a penalty. The last 2 plays in a row, they tried to that right side for no gain.
3rd and 12 play coming up. Harrod in the shotgun. He looks towards his left, gets the pass the outside to Cole Losey. Losey keeps his feet moving, gets the outside to the 30, and brought down just shy of the Kenmore East 25-yard line. Sean Hamilton on the tackle. And now we have an injured player here. Cole Losey looks to be shaken up after the big run.
Well, they're having some success with that flare, because right now Kenmore East is loading the box to stop the run. That was a really nice job on the setup. The blocking downfield by the wide receiver was superb, and that was great adjustment in reading his blocks to get the first down. See it here. There's a nice job. He reaches to the outside, gets to the edge, holds the ball, took a little late shot there, but I think he landed on the football, knocked his wind out of him. He should be fine.
Yeah, that was enough for an Interstate Batteries first down. Interstate Batteries outrageously dependable.
Got a nice little matchup going on here with DJ Goetz and Noah Lavelle in the previous series that we want to pay attention to when we see Kenmore East back on offense. But you're starting to see the offensive and defensive line matchups, and they're starting to level each other out. This is going to start to get good here right now.
And now Cole Losey was told by the officials to head to the sideline for a play. Noah Litwin, number 11, has checked in. This will bring up 1st and 10 at the Kenmore East 28-yard line. Harrod in the shotgun, a quick handoff to Will Melcher, finds his way upfield, finds his seam up behind his center, Lavelle, crosses the 20 for another first down.
Well, this is a great wing T power. You see it come back around. He follows up inside. Again, one of the things you're seeing Hamburg do really well here is setting up their blocks and following their blocks. Two very productive plays in this series.
Will Melcher off to a good start. 18 carries, 39 yards on the season. Here's the mark was indicated, second and short there on the last run. Harry takes the snap, hand off to Melcher again. He tries to get to the outside, and then he is brought down quickly there, that time by Sean Hamilton, his second tackle of the night.
Yeah, we're starting to see a change in the schemes. In the first series for Hamburg, they used more of a pro-style offense. Now you're starting to see them use the power and the counter tray. This is a really good adjustment, and they're having some success with it now.
Last run is enough for a first down for Hamburg. Well spotted at the 18-yard line with just over 3 minutes left. High formation for Hamburg. Here's the handoff. And quickly brought down the line of scrimmage. Gabe Terry on the carry. Kenmore East able to get that big stop that time with Noah Price leading the helm.
Well, you know, when you start to see Hamburg's offensive line try to get the push on the larger defensive front, they're not having as much success. It's only when they're moving those smaller, quicker offensive linemen that they've been making good gains on the run game.
Tonight's closed captioning is exclusively brought to you by Buffalo Fresh Roof. Second down play coming up. Price and Zaire Grissom on the team up last play defensively for Kenmore East. Hamburg back in the power I formation. Pitch to the right to Terry. Terry tries to get upfield. He does. Takes his shoulder down. Gets to the 15. He'll get a good run there. Gabe Terry, the team's leading rusher coming into tonight, and another big run.
This is probably one of their more productive drives of the season so far, and this is the type of thing that Coach Tripp is going to really appreciate seeing. His team is starting to put it together. If they can keep this momentum up, stay one step ahead of the defense, this will result in a touchdown or at least a three-point conversion here today.
Third down play coming up for Hamburg. Two receivers to the right. Herod rolls to his left. Herod throws on the run. The pass is complete. Hamburg able to get a couple of yards and moving inside the 10. A big time pass play for Hamburg. That time on the catch, Ray Bruce.
You know, Ray is somebody that we've talked about as a linebacker, but look, he gets out here in the flat. He makes a really productive play, hard to bring down, gets a couple extra yards. And they're close to a first down. Obviously, they got to be going for it here on 4th and short.
Ball spotted on the 8-yard line here. Herod quickly up to the line of scrimmage. He loses control of the snap, but we have a flag on the field. False start here against Hamburg.
So 4th down.
See, that's a mental breakdown. That's something you got to stay in your stance, and you know what you've got to do. You cannot take a penalty in that situation.
So a 5-yard penalty. Hamburg now on the Kenmore East 13-yard line. We're approaching the final minute of quarter number 1. Can Hamburg get a score before the quarter expires? Knocking on the door, one-on-one matchup on the outside at the top of your screen. Herod rolls to his right, now fires. It is low and incomplete. Looking for his intended receiver on the play that time. Zach Smith is going to bring up 4th down.
Well, you see pressure up in the quarterback's face again. It forces him to throw off his back foot, and unfortunately the ball was nowhere near its mark.
We'll step aside for a short break. You are watching the Law Office of William Mattar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. And welcome back. Turnover on downs from Hamburg on that pass play, looking for Zach Smith. It was 4th and 1. They couldn't get it, and now Kenmore East takes over.
Yeah, this is where I want to watch the right tackle, and yet they keep flipping Noah Lavelle. They're flipping him to the strength, and now you're going to see a little misdirection here in this offense that they're playing. A little quick hitter off the right to the fullback, the up back, for a good 6-7 yards.
That is Tyler Kent once again on the carry. One of the players that head coach Matt O'Malley talked to us about earlier in the week. Kent coming in at 6'1", 200-pound. He's listed as a linebacker and a tight end, but he can do a little bit of everything for this Kenmore East team.
He's one of those auxiliary guys that you can give everything to, and obviously they trust him with everything because he's been there everything so far in this first quarter.
4-yard gain, bringing up 2nd and 6 for Kenmore East as we're approaching the last 15 seconds of play in quarter number 1, homecoming night for Kenmore East. Bulldogs get the snap off, a short handoff, about a 1-yard gain if Kenmore East was lucky. Sean Hamilton was on the carry, and that is going to conclude our first quarter of action. We have no score between the Bulldogs of Hamburg and Kenmore East. Will step aside and take a short break. You are watching the Law Office of William Attar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. Welcome back to start of the second quarter. Our food sponsor tonight, La Pizza Club, 716-837-3838 on 1511 Hurdle Avenue. We had a great time enjoying their food today, Scott.
I will never, ever turn down something called La Pizza Club, and I'm glad to be part of that club. It was very, very good experience today.
3rd and 4 for Kenmore East. Both teams exchanged punts, and now a big run for the Bulldogs, going right up the middle, right to midfield. It is Sean Hamilton on the big run, finally brought down by Rowan Hine, but it is enough for an Express Windows first down. Now installing windows as low as $329 within 5 to 6 weeks.
Well, you see the same type of methodology that they've used the motion back for. This time he comes in, he's not the lead blocker, he's actually the kick out guy on the inside power. Really nice job here.
Sean Hamilton, Kenmore East leading rusher coming into this contest with 135 yards on the season. He increases his totals on the year with that big run to the Ken East 48-yard line. Hamilton still looking for his first touchdown of the season, too. He gets the call again, crossing midfield, gets to the Hamburg 48-yard line before he is brought down by a pair of Hamburg defenders. Will Melcher in on the action for Hamburg.
Well, one of the things we talked about earlier, number 77, Leo Haley, this is his first year playing football. He's getting a little bit upfield, and Kenmore East is taking advantage of that by him coming upfield. They're knocking him out. They're keeping it an inside block, and that's opening up the A gap. And we saw it gap for, what do we have, 15 yards the previous run, and now this one it had for a nice 3 or 4 per carry. They're starting to get their game plan going.
2nd and 6 for Kenmore East at the Hamburg 48-yard line. Lubeski in the shotgun. 2 men in the backfield with him. It's a low step to the outside to Amir Epps. Epps makes his way to the outside to the 45 and then knocked out of bounds just shy of the Hamburg 40. Amir Epps, one of the co-captains for Kenmore East this season, able to record his first catch tonight.
Yeah, he's a young man that just obviously out of one play, that's somebody you have to get that's their best athlete on the field right now. They've got to get the ball into his hands. He's got a lot of little fast twitch to him, and he's exciting to watch. Get the ball in that man's hands. You're going to see something happen. This is a new addition to their offense.
Make that Epps' 9th catch of the season. It was a 6-yard gain. And we'll call this 3rd and 1 at the Hamburg 42-yard line. 1 man in the backfield with Lubeski. Lubeski takes the snap. Quick handoff right up the middle to the team's fullback. Able to make that big run. Tyler Kent keeping the chains moving here for Kenmore East.
Yeah, this is the first time we've called number 33. Ray Bruce is their top tackler. He got a little piece of him right now, but we got to break down earlier into that hole against a player like Tyler Kemp.
4-yard gain. Bring up 2nd and 6. Under 9 minutes to go in this second quarter. Lubeski under center. A little bit of movement before the snap.
Well, that's a good job that's good discipline. Change up, let them give you a couple yards. That's a good job by the offensive line staying true as the
Dead
adjustment.
Ball, encroachment, defense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
So after the encroachment penalty against Hamburg, this will bring up a manageable 2nd and 2 opportunity for Kenmore East.
Kenmore East's offensive line is no slouch. They're at 6'4", 275, 6 feet 260, 6'4", 215, 6'1", 360, and 6'1", 295.
Hamburg has called a timeout with 8:39 to go in the second quarter. As we will let you know to stay tuned for the UB Bulls halftime show. UB Bulls football, family, affordable, fun. We'll showcase our Athletic Associates Center Scholar athletes presented by Dr. Todd Shatkin and a lot more. We'll take a look at the other games across the country as well. Again, that is the UB Bulls halftime show. So Hamburg, Scott, Jeff Tripp calling a timeout, making sure that his personnel is ready for this big second and less than 1 yard play.
And it's a good time to use it too. Get your guys gathered up, tell them the little things, don't over-penetrate, play your half man, break down, secure your gap, and go find the football. Because that's all that's happening right now. They're over-penetrating and they're allowing this either the guy who's coming in motion to dig out the 3 technique, or they have, they're just hitting a quick hitter, which is coming up underneath the over-penetration for some really good gains for Kenmore East in this second series. Is this their second or third series? I think it's their third series.
It's been a very fast first half as well. Taking a look at the measurement.
This is a good opportunity to take a shot downfield if you were going to do it. Because right now, get the ball out. You've got Epps on the outside. That young man, as we've seen, has 9 receptions now. This is a chance to get him downfield and deep and go for it right now. This is basically a free play for you.
Down marker on the field indicating it is 3rd down. Check that 2nd down. They just made the switch. So 2nd and 1 for Kenmore East. Julian Lubetzky back under center. 2 men in the backfield. Quick pitch to Kent. He keeps the chains moving. And he is brought down at the 25-yard line. Another good run. It'll be enough for a Kenmore East first down, which is brought to you by Express Windows. Now installing windows as low as $329 within 5 to 6 weeks.
That's a great job by the offensive line getting pushed to the 2nd level. They secured that first down, and they should call him Clark Kent because he's been everything to him. He's been their Superman. So far, he is the best athlete on the field. They've got Epps on the outside. I really like that 1-2 combination, and they're not changing what they're doing right now because they're having great success. Stick with it until someone else can stop it.
1st and 10 at the Hamburg 26-yard line. Quick handoff. Looked like ball was loose on the field. Hamburg is indicating that they recovered the football. Waiting for the official call. And it does appear, Scott, that Hamburg was able to make the recovery that was rolling high, number 3.
Well, we're starting to see some very good improvement from each of these teams. They are establishing the run. They're making some nice passes downfield. But ultimately, what did we say in the beginning? Eliminate mistakes, and this is one of them. You got to make sure you get the ball into the hands of your running back. That's the problem with quick hitters at times. If it's not precise, it can bounce out and invariably result in a turnover.
So the Hamburg offense returns. Herod throws a fastball up top. It is caught by the Bulldogs, making their way just past the 30-yard line, making the grab. Jeremiah Gandy able to keep the chains moving here for Hamburg.
Well, they've had that success with the flare. Now they do a funnel screen here where it was a really nice setup. Again, the outside wide receivers got on their blocks, maintained their hands on the inside, resulted in a great 7-yard pickup.
Called a 2nd and 3 for Hamburg. Herod in the shotgun, 3 receivers to the right. Pass to the outside. It is incomplete. Gandy was the intended receiver on the play.
Doesn't look like they were all on the same page there. I think the guy that was supposed to be getting the ball was actually engaged in a block on the perimeter. But you can see what they're trying to do now. They're trying to stretch laterally so they can start hitting it vertically with the run.
This will bring up 3rd and 3 for Hamburg. As Herod once again in the shotgun. Quick handoff. Bulldogs going to the right. There is a flag on the field as Will Melcher had the carry.
It was a really nice setup play. Again, the mental mistakes.
So we have a flag and also an injury timeout against Kenmore East. But 7:03 left to go in the second quarter. We'll step aside and come with more action to come here at Sparky Adams Field. And welcome back. During the fourth quarter of tonight's game, we'll be highlighting the school bus stop of the game. So be sure to stick around for that later on here in tonight's broadcast, as the Kenmore East player that was shaken up, Miguel Flores, one of the top linebackers on the team, Scott, able to get to the sideline under his own power, but a big loss nonetheless for the moment.
Well, at least for one play, and he looks like one of those guys come over, take a sip of water, put his helmet on, and pop right back in the game. You know, you just got to make sure before you let that guy up that there is really nothing wrong.
3rd and 3 for Hamburg. Here is Herod throwing to the outside. It is short and going right through the fingertips of Sean Hamilton. And this will bring up 4th down.
Well, that kind of surprised me because they've been really having some success with the run game in the first series. You only have to get 3 yards where you could have given yourself a 4th and 1 potentially. But I see what they're trying to do here. Short field, trying to get it out and create some big plays.
Hamburg once again in punt formation. Amir Epps back to return for Kenmore East. As it's a high snap, Melcher able to track it down, then gets the punt off just in time. Takes a couple bounces at the 40, a couple more just beyond midfield, and keeps rolling close to the Kenmore East 40-yard line. That could have been deadly, Scott.
Well, you know, those are the types of plays that in a game like this where they're very evenly matched, these types of mental mistakes ultimately cost you football games. That's a really head-up play by that punter, getting it out, and it's actually flipped the field. Really great job here. 50-plus yards on the bounce. Excellent job.
So after Hamburg was able to force the turnover on downs, Kenmore East counters again, forcing a punt from their opponent tonight. And now Kenmore East will take over 1st and 10 on the 41-yard line with 6:34 to go in this second quarter. One man in the backfield with Lubetsky, the junior quarterback, first year at the varsity level. Takes the snap, looks the outside, pass complete to Epps. Epps gets the screen, gets to the 45, still on his feet, spinning, and brought down close to midfield, but there is a flag after the play.
They might get him for helmet to helmet. Oh, hands to the face. Another big penalty negating another big play, and they got to get the ball into the hands of Epps.
Illegal block in the back, 65 offense. 10-yard penalty from a spot of the foul. It's still 1st down.
So replay 1st down back at the 35 after the penalty went to Nick Wilson. And you were dead on, Scott, with what head coach Matt O'Malley said about Amir Epps. He's dynamic, he's got good speed, he runs good routes, and definitely want a guy that they want to get some touches in, as they did right there. But as you can see, once again, Nick Wilson in your screen called for the penalty.
I mean, I'll always appreciate an aggressive offensive lineman downfield, cleaning it out, but you've got to have some presence of mind of when you're looking at the back number, not to put your hands on anybody else. It was unneeded.
1st and 15 play. Ken East goes to the ground. It's able to get to the 40-yard line. Sean Hamilton on the carry, and then Ray Bruce right again leading the charge defensively.
Yeah, they got back a chunk of it, but again, they've got a really nice mixture going on now of the run and pass. Out to Epps, you're seeing the offensive line with a little misdirection. The thing that Hamburg has to do is they have to readjust their defensive line. They're still over-penetrating, and that's leaving the holes open for these quick misdirection runs.
About a 5-yard gain, bringing up 2nd and 10 here for Kenmore East. Lubetsky in the shotgun. He gets the snap. Lubetsky fires to the near side. It is caught, making his way upfield. Damir Bibbs with his first catch tonight, the junior, crossing over to foreign territory, and a good pass play.
Yeah, we're starting to see a rhythm here of this offense. This young man's starting to get comfortable with who he's got to throw the ball to, and you're starting to see some great athleticism. They're starting to connect. Both of these teams are growing here tonight, live on TV.
Big play and catch from Bibbs, enough for an Express Windows first down. Now installing windows as low as $329 within 5 to 6 weeks. Damir Bibbs with his third catch of the season. A fresh set of downs, 1st and 10 for Kenmore East at the Hamburg 49. Under 5 minutes to go before the halftime break. No score, and we have a stoppage on the field.
False start, offense, 5-yard penalty, it's still first down.
So you see 2 positive plays, and then there's a mental hiccup. And both of these teams are a lot better than the penalties that they're taking. A drive like this, any type of penalty, you don't want to put yourself in a 1st and 15 when you're gaining 5 or 6 yards a carry. Now you have to get 5 of it back like you did last time. You can't take 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's affecting the development of the program. They've got to take that penalty issue and get developed and be more mature in it. Sorry if I sound a little frustrated, but they're doing a great game, but they've got to eliminate those penalties.
With the penalty, 1st and 15 for Kenmore East on its own 45. Kenmore East goes to a ground game with Sean Hamilton crossing all the way to the Hamburg 45-yard line. It's about a 10-yard gain there. That's pretty good once again from Hamilton.
Well, what you really have to appreciate what Kenmore is doing is that Kenmore has not changed who they are. As long as Hamburg gives them that over-penetration upfield, we're going to get that power play, and we're going to get that underneath that's going to result as quick hitters up right up the A-gap.
8-yard gain officially. Bring up, we'll call this 2nd and 7. As a low snap, a quick handoff up to Tyler Kent. He is barrel rolled to the 40-yard line of Hamburg. Tyler Kent, with that big size, he is really hard to bring down.
Yeah, he's just a really steady athlete. You can tell he's one of these multiple sport guys. And, you know, he probably knows the entire playbook, probably could call it himself. If everything got hurt with the quarterback, you could bet they'd put him in there. And, you know, he's one of those guys you could just put in at any position probably, and he'll be able to do it.
Don't forget, coming up, the UB Bulls halftime show, UB Bulls football, family, affordable, fun. 3rd and 2 play coming up for Kenmore East after the 3-yard gain from the big man on campus, Tyler Kent. Lebeski, the low snap, a handoff to Kent once again, keeping his feet moving, cross at the 35, and then brought down by Ray Bruce once again of the Hamburg defense. Ray Bruce, the anchor, able to get that stop, but Tyler Kent finding the open seam.
Yeah, he's got good eyes. He runs with his eyes, and it's something that he's just a steady Eddie football player. You wish you had 4 or 5 of those guys on your team. Old school.
Another first down on this drive, brought to you by Express Windows. Kenmore East knocking on the door again. 1st and 10 at the Hamburg 34-yard line. So we're approaching 2 minutes left to play here at Sparky Adams Field. Lebeski in the shotgun snap again. He looks over the middle. It is intercepted by the Hamburg defense. Gabe Terry gets to the outside to the 30, still on his feet, and then brought down at the 40-yard line. Gabe Terry, the junior, able to get the big stop. And we'll step aside here for a short break after the big play. We have no score. We'll be right back for the finish of the first half on the law office of William Attar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. Kenmore East was driving perhaps their best offensive drive of the night, but then Hamburg and Gabe Terry with the interception, his first pick of the season, And now Hamburg, Scott, trying to get some points here before the halftime break.
Well, the good news is you're seeing both of these teams. If they were mistake-free football teams or relatively mistake-free football teams, I'm telling you, you've got teams that would at least be 3-1 or 2-2.
And here comes Hamburg with the ground game. Colosi gets to the outside and brought down just shy of the Kenmore 25-yard line. That's the second big play tonight from Colosi, and it's another Express Windows first down. Hamburg knocking on the door here.
Well, now let's just see if they can keep this going without a penalty. Then again, do we have a flag back here? We do.
Here's a go against Hamburg.
There's going to be a personal foul penalty on Hamburg.
They have a personal foul, blindside block by the offense. It's a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. We'll repeat the down. First down.
So another big run negated for Hamburg, and Colosi, according to the notes, hadn't recorded a carry coming into this contest. But after the penalty here, Scott, it's going to be repeat first down at the Hamburg 32.
Yeah, again, the tough thing is you're starting to see these kids roll. They're doing great work, but they keep coming back. Even though you want to see more positive than penalty negations, but hey, they're still playing. They're highly competitive. Both teams are. It's a really great game that we're seeing here tonight.
And off to the outside for Hamburg with Jeremiah Gandy getting to the outside, scampering his way to around the 40-yard line. He'll get a good chunk back. Jeremiah Gandy, one of the juniors this season for head coach Jeff Tripp. He'll get that big run. Going to be second down coming up.
Both of these teams have a lot of talent in their skill positions that they are trying to get the ball to more often. The offensive line and defensive lines, both teams are doing a nice job. Quarterback sees something downfield, holds it a bit. Now it's great job, great coverage downfield. That's a coverage sack. Good work.
It was Nick Wilson and DJ Getz teaming up on that sack. So this will bring up third down. Still no score, approaching the halftime break. As we take a look at the defensive coaching staff for Kenmore East, probably pleased about that play, but bring it up third and long now.
Well, as we said, they play a lot of zone. They are trying to keep everything in front of them. They clearly did that as the quarterback had good pocket presence at first, had a nice pocket, but no one can hold 4 seconds of a defensive line, and that's what he asked his guys to do.
One man in the backfield. Herod drops back to pass, looks towards the near sideline, and it is incomplete, just out of the hands of Rowan Hine. Damir Bibbs was on the coverage there for Kenmore East, but nonetheless, they'll bring up fourth down, and Hamburg bringing out the special teams again.
Yeah, I mean, this is the tale of the tape so far, and you're not seeing a lack of play calling, you're not seeing a lack of ability, you're seeing a lack of concentration. The breakdown of concentration for penalties, drop footballs, they're really showing some good stuff here. They've just got to make the play.
Damir Bibbs in the secondary listed at 5'9", showing his altitude there, as this is a low snap, line drive punt from Melcher, taking a couple bounces and stopping at the Kenmore East 34-yard line. And that is where Kenmore East is going to set up shop in the last 23 seconds of this second quarter. By the way, tonight's closed captioning is exclusively brought to you by Buffalo Fresh Roof. So 23 seconds left here in this first half. Scott, Kenmore East going to have one last shot here. We saw some big plays before the interception. What do you think they'll try to do here? You got 2, maybe 3 good shots here.
Well, I think right now you don't want to turn the ball over. I think getting out of here and knowing what's working for you, the only thing you address going into the half are the mistakes that you're making on both sides of the ball. And in the end, the team that makes the fewer mistakes here tonight is going to win this football game. And that's essentially the summary here. Throw it downfield. You got Epps. Why wouldn't you? Or run it and let the clock run out and go in 0-0.
Kenmore East goes to the air instead. Here's a screen pass finding Sean Hamilton. Gets about 4 or 5 yards on the pass play before being brought down, but it does appear that we have 12 seconds left to go. I believe there's a flag on the field.
Big tackle by Ray Bruce there. That was a good setup of a screen, but Ray Bruce kept his ground, made a nice tackle while he's surrounded by 3 other offensive linemen.
Belly going against Kenmore East.
That's a penalty on the Kenmore East offense.
Ineligible man downfield on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot and 2nd down.
So after the penalty, it'll bring up 2nd down for Kenmore East as we are approaching the last 10 seconds of action in this first half. Kenmore East now getting up to the huddle, but only 3 seconds remaining. And Kenmore East runs out of time for one last snap. So, Scott, we are scoreless at the end of the first half between Hamburg and Kenmore East.
Yeah, and we thought that this was going to be a tight game, and it is. You know, there probably should have been a couple scores. But again, the momentum of these teams is getting negated a little bit by the mistakes that we have.
Well, again, scoreless at halftime between Kenmore East and Hamburg. Gabe Terry had the big interception late in the second quarter. And let's send it down to Tyler Millen, who's with Kenmore East head coach Matt O'Malley. Tyler?
Coach, what impressed you about your defensive performance in this first half?
They really stepped up for us. You know, we had a couple of turnovers on offense, and defense was able to get to 0 at halftime, and all the credit to them.
What does your offense have to do to get going in the second half?
Stop the turnovers. It's real simple. Stop the penalty, stop the turnovers.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Joe, Scott, back to you in the booth.
Okay, thank you, Tyler. Once again, we are scoreless at halftime. Kenmore East running through, and welcome to the Dog Pound. We'll be right back after this short break. At halftime, you're watching the law office of William Attar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing.
You're watching the UB Bulls Halftime Report.
Welcome back to halftime of the Thursday Night Lights. William Matar, presented by Stellar Roofing, Hamburg and Kenmore East, no score. So you're watching the UB Bulls halftime show. And now we will introduce to you the Dr. Todd Chatkin from the Aesthetic Associates Center is proud to present Thursday Night Lights Scholar Athletes of the Week. And we'll start with a 4.0 GPA. Miguel Flores is the Scholar Athlete for Kenmore East High School. Miguel's athletic achievements include being a varsity football all-conference second-team member. Miguel is also a member of the National Honor Society, and his community involvement includes being an active volunteer in local church events. And for Hamburg High School, it is Will Melcher. He has a 95 GPA. And Will's athletic achievements include being named the captain of the football team and a JV Football Perseverance Award winner. Will is also a member of the National Honor Society, and his community involvement includes volunteering at the American Legion. These athletes are now entered for a $5,000 scholarship at the end of the season. Congratulations to the Aesthetic Associates Scholar Athletes of the Week. And we'll step aside for a short break. You are watching the Law Office of William Matar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing.
You're watching the UB Bulls Halftime Report.
And as you can see, look at the homecoming court tonight here at Kenmore East High School. No score between Hamburg and Kenmore East. And each week during halftime of our Friday Night Rivals broadcast, we'll be showcasing outstanding Thursday Night Lights and Friday Night Rivals game highlights from across the country. Here's some of the best from last week's games.
The best Thursday Night Lights and Friday Night Rivals highlights from across the country.
And he just, are you kidding? What just happened? Flipped out of his hands, and it's a touchdown for Jaden Pierce. Oh my goodness.
Here's Knuckles. He's going to take a shot for the end zone. Running under it, making the catch. What a catch by Cade Mitchell.
Holy cow for the Food City touchdown.
Bus stop of the game, Jeremiah Cruz. He had a few of those tonight. Jeremiah laying the wood.
250 yards passing. Now he wants to take a shot. Looking to hang this one up for Gardner, and he drops it to him, and Gardner makes a move at the 35. Gardner's still on his feet. Gardner's got 3 touchdowns tonight. Senior's got 5. Polka fires. Ball is intercepted by the Rams. It's Mason Wydra with the pick. And here comes the Rams the other way on the turn. Here he goes, right side of the field. Wide Weiger with some blockers. Weiger on the return of the interception. He's all the way down to the 10, the 5. Weiger returns it for the score. Mason Weiger.
Receiver in motion. He will roll right. Under pressure. Still on his feet. Trying to find somebody downfield. He's in trouble. He'll throw it to the back of the end zone. The receiver's wide open. Touchdown, McQueen.
A lot of big plays around the country. And we're going to step aside for another short break. No score between Hamburg and Kenmore East. You're watching the Law Office of William Matar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing.
You're watching the UB Bulls Halftime Report.
And welcome back to the Law Office of William Matar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. We have no score in the Battle of the Bulldogs, Hamburg and Kenmore East. Joe Kraus and Scott Pilkey with you. And Scott, as we take a look at the first half highlights, some big defensive plays. Hamburg had a good opportunity early trying to throw down the field here, just a little short. And then afterwards, some big fumble. That was a big play as well.
Yeah, we were getting some good pressure up the middle, a little turnover, some penalties. This is the negating process. Both teams are moving the ball well. Both defense are showing up well. Here's a great one for the stop of the day, the bus stop of the day. This was a huge play just to keep this a 0-0 contest going into the first half. You see him drop back, great pass. The intention was there, but what a great athletic move.
So Gabe Terry with his first interception of the season, as we're back up here in the press box. Joe Kraus, Scott Pilkey with you tonight. And before we get your thoughts on the second half, let's throw it down to our sideline reporter, Tyler Millen, who is with Hamburg head coach Jeff Tripp. Tyler?
Coach, 0-0 score. You had the interception late in the half. How do you use that for momentum here in the second half?
I think it helps. We really, both teams have struggled this season. We really haven't been tied at half, so I think our guys are feeling pretty confident right now. We just got to eliminate some of the penalties, clean some things up, and I think our guys are ready to go out and work for our first win.
In a 0-0 game, how do you utilize scoring first to set the stage for the second half?
Well, you know what? We keep just trying to tell the guys it's one play at a time. I think keep their emotions in check, chip away, string some plays together, and it might only take one score tonight. So we just got to take it a play at a time. And, stay together as a team, and, hopefully things work out for us tonight.
Coach, thank you for your time.
All right, thank you very much.
Joe, Scott, back to you in the booth.
Thanks, Tyler. Scott, hold on to your thoughts for the second half. We'll be right back after this short break. You're watching the Law Office of William Matar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. And welcome back to Buffalo, New York at Sparky Adams Field. No score between Hamburg and Kenmore East. Joe Kraus, Scott Pilkey with you. Start of the second half. You could see the players like Amir Epps ready to go. But as we were talking about, to borrow an old song from Bob Seger, both teams trying to turn the page here. What are your thoughts going in?
Well, it's a clean slate. It's literally the first play of a new game. You learned some things in the first half. You made some great gains in the first half. But right now, it's going to be about that team that can put a handful of successes together without doing anything to hurt themselves that's going to win this football game. The fewer mistakes will ultimately translate into winning this football game here tonight.
Kenmore East ready to receive the kick from Hamburg's Max Coleman. Kenmore East now going left to right on the return here. Still on his feet. The ball is loose at the 30. Is picked up by Hamburg's Zach Smith. Hamburg's number 10, Zach Smith, making the scoop against the Kenmore East Bulldog. And it's another turnover for Kenmore East.
Well, this is what Coach Tripp was talking about. We're at a field that's called the Spark, right? But that is the spark that Hamburg needed. Now, they need to take advantage of this situation now. Great job in recovering the football. And now you got to take it down, control the clock, control the football, and be mistake-free on this drive.
Hamburg now with a great start here. Now 1st and 10 on the Kenmore East 25-yard line. Second turnover by Kenmore East tonight. High formation for Hamburg. Handoff to the running back. This is Will Melcher navigating through the traffic. Gets close to the 10-yard line. A good run, and then finally brought down by a host of Kenmore East defenders. It'll be enough for an Interstate Batteries first down. Interstate Batteries outrageously dependable.
They come back out in the pro formation. It's a simple ISO play. Lead block up the backside B gap or A gap, and followed really well up to the next level. Really good job.
And now Hamburg, as you saw, inside the Welby Insurance red zone. Welby will when nobody will. First down play. The run and carry to, once again, Will Melcher. Kenmore East is able to stop him this time. Brought down by DJ Getz, one of the linemen, Scott, that head coach Matt O'Malley talked highly about going into this one.
Yeah, we're seeing, like I talked to you about earlier, there's a great matchup on the inside. You got quickness versus size, and right now this is a great first opening drive for Hamburg in the second half, and let's see if they can capitalize on it mistake-free.
Second down at the Kenmore East 11. Pitch to the outside to Melcher once again. Melcher keeps the feet moving, gets a couple of yards, and brought down about the 8-yard line. Kenmore East able to make that quick stop. Now a flag throws in at the end.
See, this is a good cutback. Gets a couple yards, hard yards on the inside. You got to get up, move your guys back, and no one needs to be talking. This is the stuff that you just have to start relying on yourselves on the field. You got to hold your team accountable.
Hamburg trying to record another rushing score in the season.
The dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense. The penalty will be half the distance to the goal.
I think literally this is the first time that somebody gets a gain and then the opposition gets a penalty that helps you move the ball forward. I think everything else we've seen big gains with penalties on your side of the ball that has put both teams in first or second and long, at least towards the end of the second half or end of the second quarter.
Hamburg with just one rushing score on the season so far. That was from Jeremiah Gandy, a 38-yard scamper against North Tonawanda in week 1. First and goal for Hamburg, early stages of the third quarter. More whistles on the field and another discussion. Hamburg trying to strike first, coming off most recently a 34-0 loss to Grand Island. Now the down marker on the field sky is indicating 3rd down for Hamburg. Quick handoff to Will Melcher, and he is brought down by the Kenmore defense. Zachary Wright leading the charge right there for the Bulldogs.
Quick young man, 6'1.5", 210 pounds. Got off the block, made a good job breaking down, and it was a little misdirection, but they see that every single day because they've been running a bit of that themselves. So good job recognizing that and keeping that ball for a yard loss.
Down marker on the field is indicating 4th down for Hamburg. Ball spotted on the 8-yard line as Hamburg now looking to spread out. Kenmore East looking for a 4th down stop. Herod takes the snap. Looks downfield, keeps his eyes moving. Here is the throw. It is incomplete. Tight coverage from Amir Epps in the secondary, as Hamburg was trying to get the first score. And that is going to be a turnover on downs with 9:23 to go in the 3rd quarter. We'll step aside after this short break. You are watching the Law Office of William Attar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. Don't forget, later on tonight, stay tuned to our school bus stop of the game. So Hamburg was knocking on the door with 9:23 left to go in the 3rd quarter. A 4th down pass play that went incomplete. And now Kenmore East takes over. 1st and 10 at the 7-yard line. Both teams, Scott, continuing to get opportunities, but neither team has cashed in.
Well, when you make a mistake, the key is to negate the mistake, and that's what Kenmore did in the last series by stopping them on 4th down and starting out this drive with a really good, steady inside run, which they've been good running the football all night long.
Once again, another carry for Tyler Kent. Tyler Kent, one of the two-way players here for Kenmore East in this one. One of the players that, as we had mentioned, Matt O'Malley has relied upon all season here. And it's good to have players, Scott, like Tyler that can just be those go-to guys in the locker room.
Well, you hope to have at least one of those guys on your field, but when you see him able to do all of it, you know he's the only guy that's that auxiliary player that can do whatever he's needed to do.
2nd and 6, Kenmore East going to the ground game again with Tyler Kent. This time it is run nicely by the Hamburg defense.
Noah Lavelle there again. Good job. He's been steady all night long. Great presence on the field.
Lavelle and Jacob Bowman and a host of Hamburg defenders. As we have 8:26 to go in the 3rd quarter. We do have an injured player on the field. We'll step aside and come right back right here on Thursday Night Lights. Tonight's closed captioning is exclusively brought to you by Buffalo Fresh Roof. So there was an injured player for Kenmore East, and it was the player that we have spoken highly of all night long, number 10, Tyler Kent. He is now on the sideline, just sat down, able to make his way himself to the bench. So Kenmore East, without Tyler Kent in the lineup, now has 3rd and 5 on their back door.
He won't be out of the lineup long. He just probably got the wind knocked out of him a little bit, maybe a little dinger. If they can clear him, he'll be back. I hope so, because he's had a really good night tonight. Fun player to watch.
Now a quick discussion before the ball is snapped. Head official making sure everyone is good to go. The clock is underway. It is now 3rd and 5 for Kenmore East. Julian Lubeski in the shotgun snap. He looks along the near sideline. It is incomplete, out of the reach of Johnny Cedrone. Gabe Terry in on the coverage for Hamburg. It is now 4th down for Kenmore East.
Well, we're starting to see both teams are relying heavily on their quarterbacks. You get a guy like Kemp, who you'd probably go to for that 3rd and 5. He's out, so you have to rely on a little pass play. Unfortunately, he stopped what could have been a great drive, moving back down the field after a great stop from keeping Hamburg out of their end zone after the early turnover.
Head coach Matt O'Malley talking with us about Julian Lubeski earlier in the week and saying that Julian is starting to take control of the offense, only a junior, and just doing a good job.
Illegal substitution, offense.
Julian Lubeski doing a great job understanding the concepts of being the varsity quarterback.
Yeah, and again, we're seeing the tail of the tape for both of these coaches. You know that they're very, very good coaches. When the teams are doing well, everything is crisp. They seem to have, like you said, an understanding of the offense and defensive schemes. But again, it's one too many players on the field. Mental mistakes, guys, mental mistakes.
High punt from Cedrone is picked up by Gabe Terry of Hamburg, still on his feet at the 30. And then he is brought down by 4 Kenmore East defenders. That's where Hamburg is going to take over with 8:04 to go in the 3rd quarter.
You can't ask for better field position than Hamburg has had in now this second drive inside the 40-yard line of your opponent. This is going into the red zone. Now you've got to be able to, what are your plays down here? Who are you in the red zone? A little mixture of run and pass. But again, you've got to make sure that you're getting this stuff done. You can't have the mental mistakes down here anymore. This is the drive that Coach was talking about. This is the one they have to have. They didn't take advantage of the previous one. This one, they've got to take advantage of now.
1st and 10 for Hamburg at the Kenmore East 29. To the ground game, Hamburg goes with Will Melcher, but he is stopped right at the line from the fired up Nick Wilson, number 65.
Yeah, that's a play that they've had some success with tonight. Got a player down now, injury. But again, the adjustment that Kenmore made is that they're playing more lateral with their defensive line front. They're not gaining as much depth, so that's another good adjustment that we're seeing taking place. The coaches talk to their kids. Still seeing some mistakes, but it's good quality football that we're seeing tonight. It's a really good matchup between these two equal teams.
Gabe Terry being checked on by the athletic trainer here tonight at Kenmore East High School here at Sparky Adams Field, named after the longtime Kenmore East football coach Sparky Adams. He coached the Bulldogs from 1964 to 1977, 81 wins, 26 losses, 5 ties, and 5 sectional championships. When you get a chance to be around Kenmore East graduates, Sparky Adams is still beloved around here at Kenmore East. Just a great coach, a great figure here in Western New York.
Well, my whole family is from the Kenmore West, Kenmore East area. So, you're looking at the traditions that they have in this place, and it's carrying over into these smaller school rivalries. And we got a great one here tonight, don't we?
Absolutely. And let's toss it down to our sideline reporter, Tyler Millen.
Yeah, this has been an absolute battle in the trenches. We think about what this team has to do to go up against a linebacker in Ray Bruce has really created some serious havoc. Scott, as you talked about, you're a guy that loves to talk about the battle in the trenches. What are you seeing from upstairs? From my vantage point, it has been really difficult for either of these teams to run the ball. It can take one really big play to change the entire complexity of this game.
I think that the biggest difference that you're seeing right now are the adjustments. For example, you're seeing now you're not seeing over penetration right now. You're seeing everybody's playing really well with their hands, getting off blocks. And what you're really seeing now is the pursuit of multiple people to the football. And that's what I really like about both of these teams. They're fighting for this win. This is a breakthrough game for both of these teams, and they've got to continue to butt heads and make things happen.
Tyler Kemp was able to make that last stop after being out briefly. It's 3rd and 14 now for Hamburg. Screen pass out to Gandy. Ball is loose. Incomplete pass is called for Gandy. And now Kenmore East as a player slowly getting up here. Gandy with a little collision. 4th down play coming up.
This late in the game, when you're getting into, the late third quarter, they're playing very physically. And a couple of these guys probably haven't been playing as much as we're seeing here. While both teams have a lot of guys going both ways, it starts to wear and tear on you. Just like we were talking about, the battle in that trenches are starting to produce some people getting up a little bit more slowly than before. But also, this is where you win it. You win it in the trenches. Give your quarterback time, open up the holes, and try to get down here for at least one score. Somebody has to score tonight.
4th and 14 for Hamburg at the Kenmore East 34-yard line. Hamburg's offense is still on the field. Quick motion man. Now Herod drops back the pass along the far sideline. Pass is complete. A big catch for Zach Smith just inside the 15-yard line. A big play for the Hamburg Bulldogs offense.
Well, we've been talking about the other number 10 across the field most of the night, but one of the biggest plays of the game, they threw it to their tight end, number 10, and he did a great job, secured the ball, 2 hands on it, taken to the ground, and that is a first down inside the 15-yard line. Great play.
First down brought to you by Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable. Gain of 19 on the play. Hamburg inside the red zone as Herod looks to the outside. The pass is complete to the outside. Hamburg able to get a couple of yards there before the play finally ends. Looked like that was Sam Watkins on the catch there, Scott. A good short play from Colton Herod at quarterback.
Well, those are the types you got to take. Take what they give you down here. Continue to move the ball down so you might be able to get one of those big runs in. You've been using the pass. You got the first down, short, basically a run type of pass. Now let's grind, ground, and pound and put the ball in the end zone.
2nd and 5 for Hamburg. To the outside, Gabe Terry still on his feet, diving across the goal line, and it is in for the touchdown. Gabe Terry with the touchdown, brought to you by ECMC. Go where the Bills go.
The absolute best play that they could run down here. They've been throwing the ball, putting the ball up when they may not need to. This one, they trusted their O-line, and he extended out. Great extra effort. Ball crosses the plane. There's the touchdown. Nice job. Took you all night, but great job.
First touchdown of the season for Gabe Terry. His best performance coming into tonight. He had 63 rushing yards on just 3 carries in week 2 against Williamsville East. He's able to get Hamburg's second rushing score of the season, as the extra point attempt is up on the way and good. So the Hamburg Bulldogs able to get our first score tonight at the 5:37 mark of the third quarter. Gabe Terry with the big touchdown run.
Excellent job, excellent execution, and for the first time, no penalties on that drive. That's the first clean drive that Hamburg or either team has put together, and that is a key. That's a key, because when you see the blocking of the offensive line up front, you see the front side guard pull, gets out, good handwork, and then it's just second effort by that young man to score the touchdown. That's a great end to a great drive.
So Hamburg, from 10 yards out, able to get the first score in this contest. It is homecoming night for Kenmore East. And that was also, Scott, Hamburg's first point since going back to week 1, the 17-14 loss to North Tonawanda. So Hamburg able to break that scoring drought here.
Well, and again, it's not for the lack of talent or the lack of ability to score. It's, again, as the coach has said, you see the potential, right? Like you see him right here with this young man. Nice little return, good adjustment, great balance, and the second effort is there in this team, in both of these teams. You saw the last touchdown. The first touchdown was scored by second effort. That young man, second effort. This is embedded in both of these teams, but sometimes that second effort is a little too much. It might be a late hit. It might be a word. It might be not being able to contain your excitement and jumping off sides or encroachment. But right now you're starting to see now Kenmore has to put this drive together because, like you said, touchdowns are, not a dime a dozen around here. They're, a precious little penny you find in the middle of the street, But they're doing a good job here on the Hamburg side of the ball. Right up in there. Great run.
First and 10 from the 31. Sean Hamilton on the carry. Gets to the Hamburg 45-yard line. Check that to 44. But that's going to be enough for a first down nonetheless, as Sean Hamilton with that big run once again.
Great job on the carry. Good follow through up to the second level. Really enjoying that young man running tonight.
First down brought to you by Interstate Batteries. Outrageously dependable. Sean Hamilton, one of those dependable players for Kenmore East. It is first and 10 at the 44. Lebetzky in the shotgun. Tyler Kent, the motion man. A low snap, handoff to Hamilton, but we have multiple whistles on the field.
Ball, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
It's like we said going into the second half, the team that can put a series together without a penalty is the team that's going to win the game. That last drive by Hamburg was the first series for either team that did not have some form of yellow flag setting them back. And again, we know that this is critical for Kenmore East to come out and put a drive together, but to put themselves in a first and long is an unnecessary challenge that they have to overcome now.
Penalty moves Kenmore East back to its own 39-yard line. Just over 4 minutes left in the third. It's a quick pitch up the middle to Hamilton. He gets to the 45. So Hamilton is able to get close. Maybe he got back to where the original stoppage was going to be here. But a good run once again for Sean.
And had there been no penalty, that was a first down run. So now they're back to 2nd and 10. And, let's just hope they can keep moving here. Everybody keep focused. And let's just keep the ground game going. Eat up the clock, get back into the game, and tie this score up.
About a 7-yard gain as the Kenmore East faithful looking on anxiously, trying to get and see a touchdown for the first time tonight. 2nd and 8. Here's the snap. Ball is loose. It is picked up by a Kenmore East Bulldog right at the line of scrimmage. Kenmore East dodging another bullet once again.
And what you're looking at here is like the quarterback had to crouch down. He had to change levels for the snap. I don't know if he necessarily had to do that. But again, this is the type of thing we've watched tonight, is the level of exchange, right? Penalties, points of mesh points with the quarterback and the running back, extra effort. We're just seeing a lot of little tiny mistakes, right? And again, where you look at, the snap of the ball, we don't know why they're having a conversation right now, but, I just like to see Kenmore put a drive together here.
Dead ball and sportsman-like conduct against Hamburg.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense. 15-yard penalty results in a first down.
See a low snap here. Covers the football. Don't know if we can see it until the very end.
After that penalty, it will be 1st and 10 for Kenmore East at the 40-yard.
So now after the penalty, Kenmore East is in Hamburg territory. 1st and 10 at the Hamburg 40. You would see head coach Jeff Tripp is not happy after that penalty. He talked to us earlier in the week about we just keep shooting ourselves in the foot every week. As Julian Lebetsky is in the shotgun once more for Kenmore East. He looks to the outside, finds his man, Amir Epps. Epps makes his way to the 30, but we have a flag thrown on the far side of the field. This is the second time on a play from Amir tonight, Scott.
Well, and that exact play, and I'm interested to see what this hold is, if we can show the replay. This is something that you're seeing great plays, and it's the technical, it's the little details in a football game.
Holding, number 2, offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
You see here on the replay, we're watching number 2 from the outside. And again, you've got to have your hands in front and your face in front of the player. I don't know. That's one of those calls that his hands were on him intermittently and then came off. A great play, but again, we've got to be sound and perfect in your technique. So if there's any question of that, there shouldn't be.
So this will be 1st and 13 for Kenmore East. Epps the motion man, a quick handoff to Hamilton up the middle, gets to the 40. Knocked down at the 36, 35-yard line. Good run from Hamilton. Gets some help from the officials to get up as we're approaching 2.5 minutes to go in the third.
Yeah, this is another good one. They use their motion as they have all night long. Sometimes it's just been as a distraction. Sometimes they've used it as a block, as a kick out. Other times they've used it running right up the middle into an ISO. That has been their best scheme, and what they've adjusted off of it. And they've made positive gains on almost every time they've utilized that back in motion.
2nd and 8 for Kenmore East. The low snap pitch to the outside to Epps. Works his way to the outside, gets to the 35, close to the 30. Another big run for Epps with under 2 minutes to go. Jeremiah Fields with that tackle tonight for Hamburg. Take a look again.
Now, we are lucky that number 55, who kind of pushed through the quarterback there, that wasn't a flag. He had time to see that. He didn't have to take the extra step, but just you can't say enough about Epps and his ability to make something happen with his hands and his feet.
3rd and 3 coming up for Kenmore East as we're winding down in the third quarter on the law office of William Matar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. Joe Kraus, Scott Pilkey, and Tyler Millen with you tonight here in Buffalo. Low snap, quick handoff to Hamilton once again. He crosses the 30, gets to about the 28, 27-yard line. Hamilton, another carry. It'll be enough for a first down here for Kenmore East. The first down brought to you by Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable.
You know, for 5'11" and only 157 pounds, Hamilton runs he runs bigger than he is. And he has good vision. And I like his body lean when he goes into the gap. He's not taking hits, he's delivering hits. He runs a lot bigger than he is.
Coming into tonight as Kenmore East leader in rushing yards, still looking for his first touchdown in the ground game. 1st and 10 for Kenmore East, approaching the final minute of quarter number 3. Kenmore East trailing Hamburg 7-0 on homecoming night. Lebetsky with a quick snap handoff to Epps. He cuts his way to the outside, makes his way close to the 25-yard line. Brought down by Cole Losi of Hamburg after a couple of yards there, as the clock now under a minute to go in the third.
Now, this is the exact kind of drive that Kenmore East is needed all night long. You know, they got help from a penalty that kept them in it, and now they're trying to do, and probably about the same area where Hamburg got their scoring drive going. They're in the same position here. Now let's see, can we run mistake-free football from here into the end zone?
2nd and 6 at the Hamburg 25-yard line. 3 receivers, 2 Julian's right. Quick pitch up the middle. It is Hamilton. He is brought down hard by Ray Bruce, making a big stop.
And Ray Bruce, we haven't heard his name a lot tonight, but he has been influential. Probably only his 3rd or 4th tackle of the evening, but you see him influencing other places. They're getting linebacker, they're not getting up into his legs. They're not getting up onto the second level. He's been a force out here today going into the 4th quarter.
At the end of 3, Hamburg with a 7-0 lead over Kenmore East. Kenmore East knocking on the door at the 25-yard line. As we take a look at our lone score tonight, a nice run from Gabe Terry on the outside. We'll be back with more after this short break on Thursday Night Lights. Tonight's closed captioning is exclusively brought to you by Buffalo Fresh Ruth. Start of the 4th quarter, Kenmore East in 4-down territory against the Hamburg defense. This is going to bring up a key 3rd down play to start the 4th and final quarter. Lubetsky in the shotgun on 3rd and 3. He takes the low snap, looks to the outside, and it is ruled incomplete. Tight coverage, Scott, as Kenmore East was looking for Gianni Cedrone on the play.
Well, the key to that one is you had to get half of it with 3rd and 7 on the previous. Now you've got to go predominantly into pass mode. But I'll tell you, this might be a great opportunity to try and get to the short side of the field, Epps the ball, so we might be able to get something. Get him out in space, or whoever's in space. Hamburg doesn't do a lot of man coverage. They're in zone predominantly, and right now you got to give it to whatever they take, and hopefully your athlete can shake a little bit and get the first down for you.
4th and 7 for Kenmore East, but first, a timeout. So head coach Matt O'Malley going into his bag of tricks here on 4th and 7. We've seen a couple big plays from Epps, but unfortunately they were called back due to penalty. How would you address this 4th play here, Scott?
Well, I think it's a good time to call, a timeout, come out and see what, number one, it's the most pivotal 4th down that you have. I mean, this is, we're seeing that scores are few and far, to come by tonight. And so great job setting up in that formation, see what they're going to give you. Now you bring it back and say, do I like the play, or are we going to go with this play? In the hopes that when you come back out, they're going to be in the same front and same pre-snap read of the coverage.
So Kenmore East called the timeout now with 2 remaining. With 11:54 to go in this fourth quarter. Matt O'Malley, a former Kenmore East Bulldog, then started his coaching career at Kenmore West, then was the offensive coordinator at St. Joe's before coming back here with the Bulldogs. Biggest play of the night for Kenmore East, no doubt, 4th and 7. Ball spotted on the Hamburg 25.
They've had some success with this split backfield. Provides you max pro, but it also gives you a great opportunity to throw it to the out.
Lebeski throws. It is incomplete off of the fingertips of Damir Bibbs. It's a turnover on downs. Hamburg offense takes over.
Well, you know, we talk about the bus stop. You know, we have a really great one earlier with an interception, but this has got to be one of them because the Hamburg defense really stood up. They did a nice job. That ball was catchable, but great job by Hamburg keeping the lead at 7-0 early in the fourth quarter.
So Hamburg back on the field with its offense. Gabe Terry with our lone score tonight from 10 yards on the ground from the goal line at the 5:37 mark of the third. Colton Herod, the senior, back under center. Will Melcher, the lone man in the backfield. Melcher gets the call, moves towards his left, gets some help from his blockers, and gets out to the 27-yard line. Good run there for Melcher on first down. Noah Price able to get that stop for Kenmore East. Will Melcher now getting looked at on the sideline. It might have taken a late hit there. Maybe got the wind knocked out of him again.
Second down for Hamburg at the 28-yard line.
About a 3-yard gain from Melcher. Going to bring up 2nd and 7. Herod in the shotgun. Takes the snap and hands it off to Gabe Terry. Gets to the outside and brought down just shy of the 35, but we have another flag. Waiting for the call.
There is a flag on the play. That's going to be on the Bulldog.
Indicating it's going to be a personal foul against Kenmore East here.
5, personal foul. Personal foul, 65 on the defense. 15-yard penalty. It's first down.
Going against Kenmore East, Nick Wilson.
And again, you know, we're looking at the tail of the tape here now. You've just had a really good first big defensive series. But again, both of these teams are better than they look on paper. Okay, and that's the special thing about watching this game tonight. One is emerging right now, the Bulldogs, from their mistake-filled season, and we don't mean to keep harping on that, but it's a clear sign that's keeping both of these teams from being as good as they can be. But we're seeing Hamburg overcome that right now.
From the Hamburg 48, ball is loose on the field. Kenmore East appears to have a player on top. Waiting for the official call. It is a fumble recovery for the Kenmore East defense. Stepping up there that time, number 6, Jaden Frost, in on the play.
Well, I jinxed Hamburg because here they come in with this little misdirection. Don't know if that flip needed to be there. I think that's a one-sided handoff, another-sided. Again, we've seen little things. The mesh point where the quarterback is supposed to hand the ball, that was not supposed to be a flip. That just was an ugly exchange.
So another turnover. Jaden Frost with the fumble recovery. The 6-foot, 180-pound junior able to make that stop. Kenmore East able to add on another fumble recovery on the season. And now Kenmore East still trailing 7-0 with just over 11 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Will take over at the Hamburg 45. But first, a timeout was called by Kenmore East. Kenmore East now with one timeout remaining. Once again, we would like to thank our food sponsor from tonight, La Pizza Club, located at 1511 Hurdle Avenue. Call 716-837-3838 or visit their website, lapizzaclub.com. And Scott, that was some really good food earlier today.
Well, you know, we got to eat and spend a little time together, which is important, you know, for everybody, and you know, from the producers, from the people on the cameras here. We have a tremendous staff that's bringing you this tonight. But, you know, now we're talking about two teams on the field. And we've been talking about what mistakes are going to win you the football game if the other team makes them, and what mistakes are going to lose you the football game. And this is what we're seeing. We're seeing great effort. We're seeing great collision at the point of attack, but we're just seeing the consistency of little mistakes culminating into just a 7-0. Again, we're looking here. This is one of the best players on the field, but that little mistake there turned into a positive. That's how athletic the kid is.
Damir Bibbs able to scoop it up and get into just shy of the 40, check that 35-yard line, about the 37. Damir Bibbs, a junior, ball spot at the 38 to be exact.
A lot of misdirection plays. We're seeing a lot of change, you know, and again, maybe some of the quick hitters are the safer bet going forward, but that was a nice gain nonetheless.
Second and 4 for Kenmore East. After the big gain from Bibbs. Only had 4 carries for 22 yards on the season coming into tonight. As Tyler Kent gets another carry, couple spin moves, gets close to the 34-yard line, and then another flag is on the field.
There is a flag on the play.
Personal foul again against Hamburg.
That's a personal foul on Hamburg.
And a penalty, Scott, that gives Kenmore East another opportunity close to the red zone.
Personal foul on the defense, number 2. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. It's first down.
I think the question was whether the young man needed to bring Kemp down. I don't see where I don't see that as a penalty. I think that's a great tackle. Number 2 didn't do anything but come in late. The flag was thrown behind him. That was one of those that I don't think merited a flag.
It'll be enough for an Express Windows first down. Now installing windows as low as $329 within 5 to 6 weeks. First down for Kenmore East right at the 20-yard line. Lubeski in the shotgun, a low snap, handoff to Kent, goes towards his right, gains about 2 yards, gets close to the 15, and then brought down hard by Hamburg's Rowan High number 3, Ray Bruce. A host of defenders, including number 57, Tristan Webb, on that stop, gain of 4.
Tyler Kemp is a very strong guy. We talked about, you know, Ray Bruce and how good of a football player he is. And you see him, he comes in, wraps up Tyler, and then Tyler just drags him for a couple more yards. Number 3 comes in to finish it off. But that was a really physical run. Great job by bringing a lot of people around the football by Hamburg.
Kenmore East in the Welby Insurance red zone. Welby will when nobody will. 2nd and 6 for Kenmore East at the Hamburg 15-yard line. Lubeski takes a snap, pitches to the outside to Epps. Epps trying to turn. He is knocked out of bounds, but another flag on the outside. This one is going against Kenmore East. Both teams now in week 5 of the schedule.
Holding 55 offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Second down.
Repeat second down after the penalty. Both teams, Scott, with 3 weeks to go after tonight. For Hamburg, they'll be on the road at Amherst next Friday. Then their home finale against Health Sciences on the 17th. And then the rivalry game at Frontier on the 24th. And for Kenmore East, they'll wrap up the season at home here against McKinley. Then Grand Island. And then rivalry night against Kenmore West. That's Saturday, October 25th at 2 p.m.
Can't believe it's already halfway through this season. It's too short. I love it that much.
2nd and 16, handoff up the middle to Hamilton. He gets a couple of yards for being brought down by the Hamburg defense.
Hamburg is playing tough down here in the red zone. Got to give them a lot of credit. You know, they're overcoming the penalty that put them down here. And the consistency of their play has been very good in the second half.
This will bring up 3rd and 11 for Kenmore East here at the Hamburg 21-yard line. We're approaching 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Only a one-score game. Hamburg in front of Kenmore East, 7-0. Lubeski in the shotgun. 2 men in the backfield with him. It's a low snap. Lubeski looks down the near sideline. The jump ball for Epps. It is caught by Amir Epps for the touchdown. Amir Epps, a 21-yard score. And Kenmore East is on the board. The touchdown brought to you by Kaleida Health, the official healthcare provider of the Buffalo Bills.
They've been looking at this one all night long. They had that split backfield. The first time they've kept in Max Pass Pro. The ball is up. Epps gets good separation. Ball couldn't have been thrown better, right in the back corner of the end zone. Almost indefensible, over the head and into the hands of Epps. Great play all around.
Amir Epps, his first touchdown catch of the season, and the 4th passing score for the quarterback, Julian Lubeski. Epps, the senior, Lubeski, the junior, teaming up from 21 yards out. The extra point is good. And Scott Pilkey, we are tied at 7. We will step aside and take a short break. We'll be right back. Don't touch the dial. This is the law office of William Matar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. Amir Epps and Kenmore East continuing to be patient, feeding him the ball, and at the right time, Julian Lubeski finds the man on your screen. Amir Epps for a 21-yard touchdown score on the near sideline. Amir's first touchdown catch of his senior campaign, and it's a brand new ball game here. Scott Pilkey tied at 7.
Yeah, he is a great player. We've seen him in space. They've done everything that they can to position him in a one-on-one battle. They worked it into this mid-fourth quarter. And again, great pass pro by the offense. Quarterback stood in there, stayed in the pocket, and threw a dime. It was a great pass, great catch, perfectly executed on all parts for all 11 guys on that unit.
And it was a low snap, and Kenmore East was able to keep it going. And now here is a high kick, couple of bounces. Kenmore East trying to get the onside kick, waiting for the call, and they do. Kenmore East able to get a big special teams play to keep the momentum in their favor.
Well, we saw that in the very first kick, that pooch kick we talked about. They set that up. How unique. Look, that's what a good coach does. In spite of the mistakes, coach saw it, how they reacted to it in the very first kickoff, and now they've had 2 great plays that have accumulated from what you saw in the first half. And that throw to Epps was set up all night long. And then this little pooch kick, that was a great job. They knew exactly where to put it. Well placed, perfectly placed. Nice job.
Gianni Cedrone with the big boot for Kenmore East. His teammates take over 1st and 10 at the Hamburg 41-yard line. Both teams looking for their first win of the season. Lubetsky in the shotgun. Low snap, quick counter run. Here is Bibbs to the outside. Bibbs takes it himself to the 35, still on his feet at the 30, and knocked out of bounds. Knocked on the field, we should say, shy of the Hamburg 25-yard line.
Great little misdirection play. Again, every play that you're seeing now was a progression of one play earlier. You have the motion across they've used to be 3 or 4 different plays. You've got this little switcheroo where they flea flicker it. That one had the quarterback either for the lead or, if he saw it, a potential player downfield for a halfback pass.
First down for Kenmore East at the Hamburg 28-yard line. Just over 7 minutes to go. Kenmore East went down to the wire last week with North Tonawanda. 6-point loss, and here is another run for Kent, and more flags come on the field. Holding penalty against Kenmore East, moving the Bulldogs back.
I'd like to see the replay of this one because I've been trying to watch the offensive line scheme where the hands are, things of that nature. If this was
holding 55 on the offense, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
You know, that young man has played a really good game tonight, Zachary Wright, and that's the second critical holding penalty he's had on him in the last 2 series.
So this is 1st and 20 for Kenmore East on the Hamburg 38-yard line. Lubetsky with one man in the backfield. Here's the snap to the outside, and the pass is incomplete. Football bouncing on the turf in front of Epps that time.
Just if he had taken just a little bit more time to set his feet, get the ball out there, that could have been a big gain.
Second and long play coming up for Kenmore East. Good crowd on hand tonight for homecoming. At halftime, the homecoming court was celebrated from Kenmore East High School. Bat O'Malley trying to continue that momentum, get the weekend started with a victory here. Lubetsky takes the snap, looks on the far sideline, the big throw, it is incomplete, just off the fingertips of the receiver. Cedrone going down the far sideline.
Well, you had good pass pro from the offensive line, and again, they're going to the well. They saw something early. Actually, that was a really nice pass by the young man. Again, if it touches your fingers, we say you got to be able to catch it. It was another good pass concept, and the quarterback had ample time to release that ball that deep downfield. Had an inside leverage. Yeah, it was just a well-placed pass, just off the fingertips.
3rd and 20. Lubetsky rolls to his left, still on the run, makes the throw downfield as he's hit. It is incomplete, knocked away in the secondary by the Hamburg defensive back. Looks like Rowan Hine in on the play as Lubetsky was hit as he was thrown.
Good job by the Hamburg defense. It's a tough roll when you're a right-handed thrower. He rolled out to his left, tried to make something happen, and the ball wasn't that far off the mark. Good defensive play in the secondary.
And now Julian Lubetsky is down, being checked on by the Kenmore East trainers. 4th and long play coming up with 6:38 to go.
In my opinion, right now, you got your quarterback is down. Punt the ball, bury him, and see if you can't get the ball back. It's a tied game, popping up. That's good news. Take a play off, get back out on the field. You see him rolling. You see him rolling to his left. He sets his feet, throws the ball. Great hit at the exact same time. Great defensive play. Good stuff all around. And number 33, who we've been talking about, Ray Bruce, that's the way you finish a play. That is a young man that could play on Saturdays at the next level. Very good football player. I know we're going to be taking a look at him over at SUNY Erie football, that's for sure.
Kenmore East now in point formation. Amir Epps and Damir Bibbs did complete a pass attempt so far this year for a combined 80 passing yards. Just 2 passing plays, 1 for Epps, 1 for Bibbs. But here's the low snap and the punt from Cedrone. Goes high into the dark sky, picked up by Hamburg. Hamburg going towards the Kenmore East sideline and quickly getting out of bounds. A good return from Gabe Terry.
It's a good job there. Nice return. Good setup. And everybody that they brought in those 2 outside wings and brought them in. That makes those guys a little bit easier to block, and they did that. That's why the pursuit angle wasn't as, that's why you had the free angle to the sideline. Nice return.
Hamburg now starting this new drive on the 24-yard line. Hamburg got on the scoreboard first with the running play from Gabe Terry, 10 yards out. Then Kenmore East went to the air. Lubetsky to Epps early in the 4th quarter. Herod looks to the outside. The pass is complete in the slot. Making his way up is Jeremiah Gandy, making his second big play on the offensive side of the ball for Hamburg, crossing his way over the 35-yard line.
Nice job. This has been a consistent play for both teams all night. Little play action, little flare to the outside, what we would call a funnel screen typically, and just a big physical for him to hang on to that ball. You got to give it to Kenmore. They were hustling to the football. A lot of bodies around there to finish that play.
All the way up to 37. Good for an Express Windows first down with under 6 minutes to play. Quick handoff to the outside with Terry. Through the traffic, makes his way to the 40, and then he is brought down by a pair of Kenmore East defenders, Jaden Frost on the tackle. With 5:43 to go in the 4th quarter, tied at 7. Tonight's the law office of William Attar Thursday Night Lights trophies are designed by Southtown's Trophy. Stick around for our post game as Tyler Millen talks to the winning head coach and team. Nice shiny trophy there here tonight in Buffalo. As it'll be a second down play coming up here for Hamburg. Herod in the shotgun. Direct snap, Terry on the carries, brought down nicely by Tyler Kent, who read that easily.
Yeah, that was a really nice play by him. He's been consistent all night. Best football player on the field as far as consistent play on both sides of the ball.
Tyler Kent has been all over the place. One of the top leaders defensively for Kenmore East, coming into this one with 20.5 tackles before we had our first snap. With that tackle, it's now 3rd and 9 for Hamburg. Under 5 minutes to play. 3 receivers, 2 Herod's right, and then some movement up front.
Dead ball, encroachment, defense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
It's going to be a penalty on the Kenmore East defense.
So now it turns into 3rd and manageable, Scott, for Hamburg.
Well, I truly believe that even though you're on this side of your 50, that this is a 4-down territory. If they can get half of this, get it within the 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, I think they go for it, to eat the clock out. They've got a really good kicker. This is the drive you've got to keep alive, or come out and play tough defense against Kenmore East. I don't think you don't have a good enough punter to bury him, so make it 2 plays.
To the outside, it is a low play.
Great catch.
Is caught.
Great first down.
Enough for an Express Windows first down. Now installing windows as low as $329 within 5 to 6 weeks. A big play to the outside to Rowan Hine and a big first down.
Yeah, I'm interested in what the young kicker's leg is like down here. The extra point he hit earlier looked like it could have cleared 30, 35. So right now you just run this clock down as much as you can.
From the Hamburg 48, it's a handoff to the outside. This is Melcher, still on his feet, and then finally brought down at the Kenmore East 40-yard line. Damir Bibbs finally on the stop.
Well, you got to run that play again. That play has been money all night for them. When they pull the backside guard and tackle, what I really have enjoyed by both running games on both sides is they've been following their blocks well. The offensive line have been executing their blocks well, getting up to the second level. Both of these teams are very well coached as far as the mechanics and the fundamentals of football. Just they got to start playing mistake-free football.
1st and 10 for Hamburg at the Kenmore East 39. Another handoff, this time to Gabe Terry. On the accelerator, keeps the pile moving past the 25 to the 20, but there is a flag back at the 37-yard line.
Same play we just talked about. Pull the backside. Running back follows up inside underneath the pressure. Unfortunately, it's coming back.
3 minutes to go. Noah Price was shaken up at the end of the play for Kenmore East. Jeff Tripp can't believe it. Another penalty negating another big run.
Holding, 68 offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
So another penalty against Kenmore East. And we're back to the Hamburg 47.
And that's an unfortunate, because these guys are playing clean right now. We're down to the last 3 minutes here. That was a great run, great block. I don't know. I thought that was a real clean play from what I could see.
Hamburg now at the 47-yard line here. Herod, counter run to Gandy. He is brought down in midfield. A big stop from Nick Wilson. Another big loss as we're approaching 2:25 and ticking. 2nd and 23 coming up.
Nick's 6'1", 295 pounds. He's been playing steady all day long. Watch him get some penetration here. Chucks his guy, is patient, doesn't over-pursue, goes where the running back's going to be and makes a great tackle. Tremendous stop.
Hamburg back at midfield. Herod in the shotgun. Here's the snap. Hamburg feeling the pressure. A short play. It's intercepted by Kenmore East. It's a big dive for Kenmore East. Able to get the offense back on the field. A huge play from Zaire Grissom, one of the top players for the Bulldogs.
Yep, you talk about big players making big plays at the right place at the right time. That's what this was. Little bit of a lazy throw. He had pressure. It was a set-up screen. You got to dump that over the defenders coming in. You can't lean back. Most of his passes tonight that have not gotten to where they need to be have come off of him throwing off of his back foot. Tremendous job by Kenmore East to stay in this game. You got 1:52. You don't necessarily need to have a 2-minute drill, but you've got to be ready with the special team, with your field goal kicker, because that's what it's going to come down to if you can get close enough.
Well, we got a chance to talk with Coach O'Malley. We asked, where does Zaire Grissom play? He said every position. as he sets up his offense. First down run for Hamilton, still on his feet, past the 35. A good run for Sean Hamilton to start this drive under 2 minutes to play.
Now this is where you have to operate with perfection. Good job. Call your timeout. Make sure it's the right play.
Timeout called by Hamburg with 1:34 to go. We'll step aside and bring it back to finish right here. It's the law office of William & Tarr's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. Hamburg with the timeout, 1:34 to play. Hamburg 7, Kenmore East 7. Zaire Grissom with the big interception. Scott Pilkey to set up the offense with 1:34 to go. Thanks again for joining us, Joe Kraus, Scott Pilkey, Tyler Millen on the sideline. 4 down territory, tied at 7. What else could you ask for?
No, this is what we've been talking about, overcoming your mistakes. This is one of those lessons that football gives you in life, to constantly battle, never quit, always make something happen, and you never know if you're going to win or lose. That's the beauty of this game. When you see two teams that don't come in here with any wins, doesn't mean they're done fighting. Both of these coaches are excited for their teams, and these kids have battled in spite of their mistakes, and now they've got a great ending here with 1:34 left, tied 7-7.
2nd and 1 at the Hamburg 34. Julian Lubeski in the shotgun. Quick handoff to Hamilton. He goes to his right, still on his feet. Gets stopped shy of the Hamburg 30. We'll give credit inside the defensive line to Leo Haley leading the stop.
First down.
First down, big one for Kenmore East. Brought to you once again by Express Windows with 1:20 and ticking to go. Lubeski in the shotgun, Hamilton on his left hip. Lubeski the snap, looks in near side. Epps makes the catch, turns up field, and gets rolled over just past the 30. Brought down by Ray Bruce. Kenmore East quickly getting to the line of scrimmage with 1 minute to go.
That was a great job by Ray Bruce, because if he had not secured that tackle, that running up inside like that, Ray Bruce was the final line there. Nice job by Bruce, sustaining it only as a 3-yard gain.
2nd and 3 from the Hamburg 28-yard line. Lubeski rolls to his right, stops, fires, incomplete. Low and intended for Tyler Kent. It now brings up 3rd and short with under 40 seconds to go.
You know, I think what we're looking at is you've got to have 2 plays. One of them's got to go to both of them have to go to Epps. Or you have to put Superman Clark Kent over to the right, and you put Epps to the left, and whichever one is open, that's who you're throwing the football to in these last 2 downs. I mean, if you get one that's inside the 10-yard line, bring your kicker out. But if not, you've got to be able to throw the ball 28 yards here and make it count.
3rd and 6 for Kenmore East.
And I think that's what they've got.
38 seconds to go. Trips to the right, Lubeski pitches to the outside to Epps. Epps keeps the feet moving, goes to the 20, to the 15, and brought down just shy of the 10-yard line. Sam Watkins finally on the stop, but another big run, enough for a first down, brought to you by Express Windows.
We have a great job here. Great little speed option to the outside. Tremendous call by the coach. Keep it on the ground. Put it in the hands of one of your tremendous players who gets up. No penalties. Nice job called. This is their last timeout called. Fantastic job. Now you have 2 options. You have one where you got to throw the football. You've got to throw it to Epps. You've got to throw it to Tyler, or you throw it out of bounds. And if you got one shot, maybe two shots, then you bring in your kicker and you just get it as close as you can. There's really only one reason why you'd want to run the football, and that's to get it as close as you can for your kicker, make it an extra point, and win the football game. But you also risk running the clock out because now you no longer have any timeouts.
First and 10 for Kenmore East at the Hamburg 13-yard line. Two receivers on Lubeski's right. Bibbs at the top of your screen on the near side. Up's the motion man. The quick handoff up the middle to Hamilton. The pile keeps moving to the 5-yard line. A big run for Hamilton. 20 seconds and ticking. Kenmore East out of timeouts. Kenmore East going to have to spike it here. 15 seconds to go. Second down and a spike with 11 seconds remaining.
Great time management. You technically still have, but why mess around with it? You've got a kicker. This is your chance to solidify and win the football game. And this has been a great final drive. We talked about how Hamburg has emerged from their mistakes. You're seeing now how Kenmore East is overcoming their mistakes, putting themselves with less than 12 seconds left. They're going to ice them, but this has been a great ending of a great football game.
Timeout called by Hamburg with 11 seconds remaining. Hamburg Bulldogs struck first with the rushing score from Gabe Terry at the 5:37 mark of the third from 10 yards out. Kenmore East punched back. Julian Lubeski to Amir Epps, 21 yards through the air with 7:57 to go. The Kenmore East faithful is on the edge of their seats hoping for a big victory here tonight at Sparky Adams Field.
I mean, what a homecoming if you can win this like this tonight. You know, all the young people that are in the stands, this is what you're here for. They're all these kids. These are their memories, and they're doing it together. That's what you got. I love high school football. You know, great traditions like this, teams trying to get right, get better. That's what you're seeing here. Come on, young man, make this kick.
Gianni Cedrone on to kick for Kenmore East. The kick is on the way. It is up, and it is good. Kenmore East takes a 10-7 lead with 8 seconds remaining.
What a battle of the Bulldogs, baby. Battle of the Bulldogs.
Gianni Cedrone with the huge play. Now Kenmore East needs to make one more stop with 8 seconds to go.
No more pooch kicks. Bury this one. Great job holding up front. And that was great operation time. That young man's got a really good leg.
Great look at the celebration. Gianni is fired up. Now Kenmore East needs to put the final touches. Hamburg trying to return this back. Gabe Terry is back to return this one. Kenmore East with 10 unanswered points in the last 17 minutes or so of play. Jeff Tripp on the Hamburg sidelines. Looking for a big burst. Cedrone with a line drive. Couple of bounces. It's picked up by the up man, Sam Watkins. He pitches to the outside. Extra pitch. Couple of bounces. It's thrown over to Watkins. Watkins from the 30 to the 35. Flags are on the field. Watkins going down the sideline. Still on his feet to the 20, the 10, the 5. Watkins is in the end zone, but there are multiple flags on the field.
Wow. looked like a forward lateral, which I think is what the flag is about.
If it stands, it would be roughly a 75-yard return for Watkins. A lot of discussion between the head official and Kenmore East coach Matt O'Malley. Crowd waiting for the call.
All right, during the return, we have a personal foul, blindside block, number 24 on the return team. The penalty will be 15 yards from the spot of the foul. We'll have one untimed down.
Yeah, that's what you don't want to see again. It's hand placement, face placement all night long. They've got one opportunity. Who knows what can happen with one play left to go? I mean, that last one was, I thought it was a forward lateral. That's why it was coming back. But hey, to live and die by the flag, buddy. That's been the tale of both of these teams all season. But I really am impressed with how good both these teams are. It's not for a lack of coaching. It's not for a lack of game planning. And it's certainly not. Both of these teams came to fight today, and they both have.
Hamburg now from the 28-yard line. Herod takes the snap, looks over the middle. It's caught by Gandy. Gandy trying to get the pitch. The ball is loose. It is picked up by Kenmore East. And that is going to be the ball game. Kenmore East, 10 unanswered points, and they come away with a 10-7 win over Hamburg.
And how appropriate that 10 points, and who ends up with the ball in his hands, the player of the game, Tyler Kemp himself, comes up with the final turnover to finish this game. It was a heck of a game. Nice job there. Nice job.
First win of the season for Kenmore East. The crowd is fired up. 10-7 the final over Hamburg. We'll step aside and take a short break and come back with our post game. You have been watching the Law Office of William Attar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. Once again, our final score, Kenmore East with a 10-7 win over Hamburg in the Battle of the Bulldogs. Let's take a look at the school bus stop of the game. Always stop for a school bus when the stop arm is out and the red lights are flashing. Not stopping or trying to beat the stop arm puts lives at risk and can result in large fines, points on your license, and license suspension.
This is the school bus stop of the game. Always remember to stop when the school bus arm is out.
You know, this was one of those pivotal moments where the pressure came in. It was there all day, and somebody comes up with a big play right there at the end, and that's the way we stop the game.
This
and
is
that's
the
our
school bus
stop of the game.
Always remember to stop when the school bus arm is out.
And now let's throw it down to Tyler Millen, who is with the Kenmore East Bulldogs. Tyler?
Coach, you find your way to get your first win of the year. How rewarding does this one feel?
Hey, it was a great job by our players. So let's talk to Gianni, who hit that game-winning field goal, and Amir caught that touchdown.
You walk out there, game winner on the line. What's going through your mind?
Just kick it and get it in there. Don't worry about what my team was just saying to me. Just kind of do what I do. Kick the ball and get it in there.
What impressed you about this team's resiliency on that last drive?
Say it one more time.
What impressed you about this team's resiliency on that last offensive drive to get it down there to you?
Man, I love how we all played together. We all stayed confident. Love how we all knew that we were going to come back and win this game.
Congrats on that first win. This is for you.
Thank you.
Come here. Come on over. Come on over. This team finds a way to win its first game of the year. How does it feel to you?
Feel great, man. Just working all week. Man. Just winning, man. Feel good. Fine, we got one.
Well, it's going to be a fun weekend for these guys. I can say that much. Gentlemen, enjoy it.
Thank you, Tyler. Once again, our final score tonight, Kenmore East 10, Hamburg 7. Scott, your final thoughts before we close it out.
I just loved seeing both of these teams overcoming their mistakes and all the things that the coaches talked about today. Watching them overcome it, taking that trophy off the field like that, it doesn't get much better. It's exactly what we play this game for. It's why we coach it. That's why we love calling the game. This was a great Thursday night light event for us this evening.
Kenmore East now 1-4 in the season. They'll take on the McKinley Max next week in a big one. But I'd like to let you know that next week right here on Thursday Night Lights, it is the Lackawanna Steelers taking on the Maryville Flyers. Scott and I will be on the call for that one next Thursday night at 7 p.m. right here on My TV Buffalo. Once again, our final score tonight, the Kenmore East Bulldogs on homecoming night with a big 10-7 win over Hamburg. Big thanks to our entire crew. And once again, for Scott Pilkey and Tyler Millen down the sideline, I'm Joe Kraus. We thank you all for tuning in to the law office of William Attar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing.
All of us would like to take a moment to thank the wonderful sponsor partners, William Attar, Stellar Roofing, Aesthetic Associates Center, and the University of Buffalo, who through their contributions to the program make these games possible for you viewers at home. We'd also like to thank our other great sponsor supporters for their contributions to our 2025 Thursday Night Lights telecasts. And we especially like to thank tonight's participating high schools and their administrators for their continued support.